What's this, the library?
That's part of it. It's some of the better books that are my people might. I've got, that's maybe 25% of what we've got. It's like that photograph of the Bowie track in the late 50s before it was glassed in. You can see it was a Saturday, but look at the parking lots. And here's the trains from, there was a spur Pennsylvania Railroad spur.
Wow, that's from
there.
1950?
Late 50s.
Oh, late 50s?
Because it hasn't been glassed in yet. They wound up glassing it in and used to literally open on January 1st. Right?
God, look at this, it's just teeming with people.
Yeah, but well, look at, that's the parking lot. And that's just, it had to have been a Saturday for that kind of a crowd. That was the day, now I don't have the exact date on that, that was the day that people had to spend the night there.
Oh, is that right? That's that day?
That's that day. That's an old trophy from the Bowie race course. What became the John B. Campbell Handicap in the later years of Bowie racing. The founders of the track originally were the Bryan and O'Hara folks from Canada, and they ran what they called the Bryan and O'Hara Cup until the early 50s, I guess it was, when they started the John B. Campbell Handicap to replace it. And that was kind of like the Woodlawn Vase trophy, where it was the token trophy for the race, but the owner didn't get to take it home.
No kidding.
It's like when you see Mr. Woodward over here with Smokey Saunders at Pimlico when Omaha won the Preakness, and they're standing with the Woodlawn vase there, which supposedly still is the most valuable trophy in sports.
Right?
And that's it with Omaha after the Preakness. Those are original Woodward silks, yes. When we say silks, they're of course made of nylon now. But when thoroughbred racing first began in England, they were literally made out of silk. Of course, they were talking about the people that could afford thoroughbreds and like at that time,
well, they didn't have nylon back then.
and they didn't have nylon there. And of course, they didn't hold up for too many races, supposedly. This stable was originally designed for the carriages and the carriage horses. But when William Woodward inherited Belair, I mean, he was very much into carriages and the like too, but by the time he got to the 1920s, he was starting to get some nice horses here. And there were a lot of barns and stables here. But what he decided, his stable master had just gotten married. And what he did, these shed rows were originally made out of wood, but in the early 1920s, his stable master got married. What he did was the carriage room on the other side of the arch, as you come into the courtyard, he had it transformed into a living quarters for his stable master and stable master's bride.
What did I do here? I triggered a horse.
Yes. It's like you walk into a grocery store and the door opens. Well, that's just for, again, we're visitor oriented.
Right.
Gallant Fox, we have records. Nashua, we know a stall that Nashua spent some time in. We know that Gallant Fox, we have, histories, oral histories of people that were either worked here or, this is from years ago, of course, because most have gone on by now, or their relatives on exactly what the operations were like here.
So they actually said Gallant Fox and Nashua were,
yes.
Yeah, they know they were stable.
But again, when we closed down, or when Belair closed down with the Levitt purchase, and all the horses were sold, there was never any real intention that there'd be museums here in that time. This was a courtyard that the horses weren't allowed to run free in this courtyard. They could be shown here, they could be walked here, but again, because they could have, no, because actually when this was a working stable, it was pea gravel here.
Oh, okay.
But
Sorry.
this area back here where the brick walls are, and you can see where these are modern gates, and there's one picture over here that shows the gates from old time. There were 2 turnout areas back there where they would be let out. It was
out that way,
there where that cement block. Pardon me?
They were the horses were turned out.
Yes, right. They could be turned out back there. It was fenced in, obviously.
How many horses would they have on the property typically?
Well, counting all the different breeds, because Clydesdales were bred and raised here also.
Oh, is that right?
We could have, as many as a couple hundred horses. I mean, it was a large, well, say it was 2.5 square miles and a number of barns.
Wow.
It's just that this was finally under William Woodward was allocated as some of the special horses would be here.
Right.
So,
So what's this sign from Gallant Fox? Is this
that was original. It was actually here. It was left.
this was wow?
Really?
Yeah.
But what was this sign for? Was it a
Well, it was just here to show when people visited here back then that he was here.
Oh, look at
It
that.
was a grandstand of the old track.
Wow, look at that. That's great.
We got that originally. That was here when I first started working here. That when the track initially closed, that came to us almost right away.
Was Omaha in this stall?
No,
we don't know that.
That type of information just wasn't recorded, and we had to get it from interviews and things of that nature. There is a picture that was an AP or UPI picture that we have posted over there that shows Omaha. He went, after his 3-year-old year, he went to race in England. And Mr. Woodward raced in England. And the goal there was to win the Ascot Gold Cup, but he finished second by a nose to a filly. I can't even think of the name of the filly. But he went to Europe, to England to race. Then he came back and was turned out to stud, and for lack of a better way of putting it, he was a dud at stud. I mean, it was not that he wasn't willing, but he just didn't pass his virtues on to his offspring, let's say.